Hi, I'm Trisha. I'm from Cohen Design International. So we are actually a team of landscape architects and project managers who actually design landscape spaces. So we have done many local projects in Singapore as well as international projects in India as well, China as well. So in a world where we actually design urban spaces as well as landscape spaces within urban developments, it's actually very popular and it's becoming more in terms of the connectivity that is needed with nature itself. So we often seek many public spaces or even green spaces in public to actually come into this relaxation mode or even reconnecting with nature to find peace and tranquility within a bustling city. So what we actually want to design is in terms of the residential amenities that allow people to actually explore their connection with nature through social interactions, wellness facilities, as well as many more amenities that help with reducing stress as well. So for our landscape concept, it's developed along Wellness Valley. So what wellness actually involves is actually an active pursuit of different activities as well as healthy habits that actually create this environment where people can lead to a holistic lifestyle as well as healthy lifestyle. So it's more than just nurturing the residents in terms of physically, but it also encourages them to actually have a balanced mental health and to attain the sustainable, substantial state of life itself. So the proposed programs that we actually have for this development is to actually incorporate 6 different dimensions of wellness, as I had mentioned. So physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, social, as well as environmental. So the idea of actually involving these residents and the public as well through layers of these social spaces were actually to fuse this development itself that is being separated into active and vibrant spaces to actually give people this nature connection to nature. For the physical activities, we actually incorporate a healthy lifestyle in terms of the active amenities that we have provided. For the spiritual activities, we are looking at calm and contemplative spaces to actually allow people to come in and rest and think in terms of connection with nature spiritually. And wellness, we also think about physically, so in terms of activities that they can do, yoga activities and wellness locations, exercise areas as well. And emotionally, we think of using nature itself, planting the softscape palette to actually connect people with nature itself. And social, so we look at spaces that people can come in together, like an event lawn, amphitheater space that allows people to come into groups and interact. And lastly, the environmental, which is to actually touch on portions like green infrastructure, of how we can actually green up different spaces through the planting along the planters as well as the columns as well. So on the ground floor, what we have actually designed are actually spaces where people can actually come out together, and that is actually where the adults can actually bring the kids in terms of families and how they can actually use the landscape space to run around as well. And that will also give them a connection in terms of emotional connection to the nature space itself. And on the road portion, we actually allowed for a very energetic looking paving pattern that actually allows people and encourages footfall to fall within the retail spaces and allows people to make use of make the space very active. Yeah, and the planting wise, we also chose trees which are single trunk trees so as not to block the vision of the retail shops, so people can actually see what's happening and they can see how the retail space is being a very active location itself. And moving to the amenities within the residential area, we have actually provided for 2 different lap pools. So the first lap pool is actually an 18-meter lap pool, which is very a space that is really mainly catered for people who are very enthusiastic in terms of exercising. So that's where they can actually come in and actually swim multiple laps, and that's where they train their physical well-being. And the other pool, which is a 12-meter lap pool, so that's actually more for dipping, for families to actually enjoy the water with their kids as well. And there is actually 2 lap pools actually separated with a dry deck where people can actually sit around the sun lounge area as well. So moving on to the level 3 portion, that's where we actually have all these sports recreational activity space. So that is actually located near the road on the right side of the development. And the reason why we have allocated all of those sports spaces on that location so as to minimize the noise that will actually be caused to the residents and the units that are nearer to the back of the residential area. Yeah, so at that portion, people can actually have make a lot of noise and have a lot of activity zones, and it will actually not affect the residential as much. So moving on to the roof portion, so that's where we have actually allocated a lot of these built-up spaces and resting spaces on the deck as well, to actually overlook this view towards the airport space, and that will actually allow people to have very curated views using this borrowed landscape of the airport to actually view out and have a very nice sunset deck kind of look. And the built-up spaces also allow people to gather in terms of small groups or even larger groups for a more intimate experience with their families as well. So our journey with VJ has been wonderful. VJ has been very responsive in terms of what we can actually develop for the landscape spaces and how we can actually bring the landscape spaces to life. So over the past few months, we have had virtual connections with VJ, as well as workshops that actually allow us to solve site issues and site constraints as well, to actually bring the landscape spaces to life and bring our landscape concept to life for the residents who will be living within this residential area. So we hope that in future, together with VJ, we can create more landscape spaces that we are proud to call home for all these residents to be living here. Thank you.